Hey guys, and welcome to the very first episode of my new series, Starting Scuba. If you are watching my videos and thinking, this scuba diving thing sounds cool, how do I get into it? Well, this is the series for you. Watch over the next few weeks as I tell you how you can do what I've done. Minus the failing YouTube channel and the multiple rebrandings. Right, so how this video is going to work is it's going to be split up into like 3 parts. The first part, I'm going to be talking about some basic sort of things that you should know before you start scuba diving. The second part, I'm going to talk about the different scuba schools that there are, because there's a lot of different agencies that you can go with to actually get qualified to dive. And the third part, I'm going to talk about the PADI Bubblemaker course, which is a really good place to start if you are too young for the open water. First thing you need to know when starting scuba diving is that it's not an easy sport. It is classed as a sport, first off. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's not particularly safe. If you want the safest sport, go and play tennis or something like that. Scuba diving is dangerous. It's classed as an extreme water sport. There is, because obviously you've got the tank on your back, and that tank is your only lifeline when you're down there. When you're down 30 metres, that tank is your only thing that's stopping you from not being able to breathe. So that's why it is classed as an extreme sport. It is a dangerous sport to get into, but I think it is very worthwhile because when you're down there, it opens you up to a whole new world of seeing wrecks and new aquatic life and all things that you wouldn't get to see from just snorkeling. So I think it is a very dangerous sport. You do need to do your research and really think if it's for you before you take it up. But I do think that if you do decide to take it up, it is very beneficial as it does let you into a world that you wouldn't usually get to see. Also, if you have health conditions, like if you're prone to heart attacks or if you're prone to any kind of heart problems, basically, you probably won't be able to dive because there are strict medical requirements that you have to meet. You have to say no to basically everything. You can't have anything basically medically wrong with you to be able to do scuba diving, and that's just for health and safety because of how dangerous it is. But overall, if you know what you're doing, it's not that dangerous. I'm sitting here and I'm saying it's a dangerous sport. It's not. It can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. But if you've done all your courses and you remember your training, that's the important thing. Remember your training. If you stick to your training, you can get into any emergency scenario and know how to get out of it if you stick to your training. If you forget all your training, that's when it becomes dangerous. But if you just stick to your training, remember what you've been told, go through all the courses and read all the stuff properly, then you'll be absolutely fine and you'll have a really good time doing it. So, that's covered some of the basics, but what scuba organisation should you actually use? What scuba school? Because there's 3 that I know of. One is called PADI, that's the main one that's universally recognised. There's one called SSI, which is like the European version of PADI. They're not associated, but if like PADI's more in the UK, more if you go to Europe, it can be more SSI. And there's also BSAC, which is just in the UK. So I'm going to talk about all 3 of them. PADI first. PADI is the main one. PADI is recognised in pretty much every country across the world. And if you want to, I would say that if you want to train up to be a scuba diver and teach scuba diving and go teaching around the world, PADI is probably the best one to get as it is recognised in every country. The other 2 aren't as much. If you just wanted to use your diving qualification for pleasure purposes, then you could consider the other 2. But I would say if you wanted a job in scuba diving, probably get PADI because it is the most universally recognised. However, there are some drawbacks with PADI. Although PADI is the most professional, PADI stands for Professional Association of Dive Instructors. So even though it is the most professional, it is unfortunately the most expensive. Some people say that PADI stands for put another dollar in. I kind of believe that. I can see where they're coming from. PADI's courses are quite expensive. So if you want a cheaper alternative that's not universally recognised, you could go with BSAC. Now BSAC stands for British Sub-Aqua Club. BSAC, they have clubs all over the country. It is just a UK thing, but they have clubs all over the country. And the good thing about BSAC, I personally go with PADI, but the things I've heard about BSAC, why people say it's good, is because with PADI you pay for each course individually, whereas though with BSAC you just pay a yearly membership fee and they teach you everything you need to know. So instead of there being like structured courses, you pay for this one, then you pay for this one, it's just a yearly membership fee and they teach you everything you need to know. So that's why people prefer BSAC over PADI, but I can see the benefits of both. A BSAC does work out cheaper in the long run if you're going to do a lot of courses, because obviously with PADI you have to pay for every course individually. With BSAC, it's just it's just like a membership fee for the year. So BSAC does work out cheaper if you wanted to go on a budget, but then again, PADI is more universally recognised. So really, it's pros and cons. Personally, I would use PADI just because I think they're the most professional one out there, and they're the ones that I know I can go anywhere with my PADI qualification, and I'll be able to dive because they'll know what it is. But yeah, if you want the more professional one, go PADI. If you want the cheaper one that's going to give you a sort of all-in-one package, you can go BSAC. There's also SSI, which stands for Scuba Schools International. If you are from Europe, if you're not particularly from the UK, if you're more from maybe Spain, France, Germany, more European countries, that's kind of where SSI operates. It's like PADI, but just a bit more European, but they do pretty much the exact same thing that PADI does, just more European based. So those are your three main scuba schools. SSI is European, BSAC is a yearly membership fee, works out cheaper in the end, but it's only in the UK. And PADI is the one that I would personally recommend because it's the one that I use. Bit dearer, but overall just the most professional. And yeah, those are your three scuba schools. So let's move on and just talk briefly on the very first course that I ever did, the Bubblemaker. So what is Bubblemaker? Well, Bubblemaker was my very first course that I did when I was 8 years old. And I think personally it's a really good way to get into diving. It's run by PADI. If you've been on holiday and you've done a trial dive, it's probably the Bubblemaker course that you've done already. This is especially good for younger kids because you can't do the open water course, which I will do a full video on the open water course in a few weeks, but you can't do the full open water course until you're 12 years old. So if you're younger than 12 and you really want to get into diving, then I think the Bubblemaker is a really good opportunity because it gives the opportunity to go out and dive one-on-one with a trained professional instructor. So it's just one-on-one with a trained professional instructor. They'll guide you through everything. They'll tell you how everything works, and they'll be right by your side for the whole thing. But it just gives you a great experience and a great way to dip your toe into diving if you're not quite old enough to do the full thing yet. So overall, that's pretty much just what Bubblemaker is. It's basically just a trial course that's run by PADI, and it's a great way to dip your toe in the water and see if you like diving. If you're not quite sure if you like diving, Bubblemaker would be a good place to start before you actually go and pay out all the money for a proper open water course. So I would say if you're unsure, if you know you want to go with PADI, but you're unsure whether you want to take it down and become a diver properly, then go for Bubblemaker first because it'd be a good way to do a dive experience it, and then you can say, yeah, I love this, I want to do my open water course, or you can say, no, I don't like this isn't for me actually. So yeah, Bubblemaker course, great beginner course by PADI, would recommend. That is it for today's video, guys. We have covered the basics that you need to know about scuba diving, the health and safety, and the fact that it is not all glitz and glamour. It is dangerous at times as well. We have covered the 3 different schools, SSI, BSAC, PADI. You make your decision on which one you think is best for you. And we have also covered the Bubblemaker course, which I think personally is just a great way to test the waters and see if you like diving. If you did enjoy this video, guys, if you found it informative, then please do let me know down in the comment section down below. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. And if you learned something in this video, then leave it a like to let me know that you do like these kind of videos. If you do like these kind of videos, by the way, if you like scuba diving videos, if you like travel videos as well, or if you're wanting to get into scuba diving videos and follow this series, then please subscribe to this channel and hit that little notification bell, because then you'll be notified every time I put up a new one of these videos. But that is pretty much all there is to say, guys. I will see you next week. Goodbye!